There are two main things to say about the House of Da Vinci. First, it's basically The Room in a different package. Second, it's actually quite good. Thing is, can the game really stand on its own 2 feet when it's leaning so heavily on something that's already established? So, it's a point-and-click adventure where you play as Leonardo da Vinci's apprentice. After your master disappears, it's up to you to find out where he's gone. It starts off pretty simply, with moving mechanisms and some finer details to discover, but before you know it, you've got a couple of special lenses, remember those, Room fans? And you can see through walls. Well, some walls. Another neat trick is your ability to relive a brief snippet of time, letting you see which buttons Da Vinci pressed or where he walked. Not that you'd need too much help, as a lot of the puzzles are solvable with basic common sense. For the more difficult solutions, you've got a handy hint system if you need some help. Yes, obviously that makes things a bit easy, but they only pop up after a while and you don't have to use them. The music in the game helps the old worldy atmosphere, and the delicate clicks and clacks of the mechanism alongside the responsive controls make you feel like you're actually moving items and turning keys. Oh, and the mechanisms and inventions themselves get infinitely cooler when you realise they're actual representations of Da Vinci's real work. Thing is, while we appreciate all of these positives, we can't help but get hung up on that first point. It borrows so heavily from the Room franchise. The general design, the way the layers of the levels open up, it's easy to forget that this isn't some kind of Fireproof Games offshoot of the Room. And while in some ways that's a compliment, it's also a negative, because it does show a lack of ingenuity. You also don't get the same level of polish you get from the Room series. The touchscreen controls definitely work, but there are points where they're overly sensitive or overlap with other areas of a focal point, especially when you're zoomed right in. There's also some issues with the real writing effect being quite hard to read, especially on smaller devices. As you can probably tell, we're a bit conflicted on this one. On the one hand, it's a decent puzzler with decent visuals and a nice soundtrack and moderate challenges. On the other hand, it's a blatant lift of an existing and successful franchise. Is the House of Da Vinci a bad game? No. Is it a cynical one? Almost certainly. The question is, how much do you care?